All right, everybody, welcome to the JK Theory. Here we talk about anything and everything. No topic is left untouched, no stone is left unturned. We give you the raw, real, and uncut. And before we get to it, I'm Jay.
Okay.
This is the JK Theory. So we've got a topic here that we'd like to touch base on. We're gonna just label it "What If." So, what if Pac hadn't got murdered? What if he actually survived and even started his own label? And let's just say Pac signed Eminem, right? How different would it have been? So, first, before we get into how maybe Shady's um, celebrity status would have gone or his career, let's just focus on Pac for a little bit. So, what do you think would have happened if Pac would have survived that murder? Because that's what happened to him. He was murdered. Um, I have a theory that he would have definitely came back with a big FU double, maybe triple album, and he would have been bigger than anything he's ever accomplished in the past. But what do you think? What would have happened in your Marvel universe that Tupac isn't?
It would have been hell for a while. Like
For
he
who?
would have been on a rampage. Yeah.
So
Like,
do you think he would have addressed the Snoop bullshit or not?
um I think the Snoop stuff would have got settled eventually. I don't think his focus would have been on Snoop at that point. I think it would have been strictly on Bad Boys and the people that shot him in Vegas.
So do you think that what if Suge would have survived, right? As well. So Pac and Suge, what if they both would have survived? Because I
Mhm.
do want to spin it and say, what if Pac would have survived and Suge not, right? So they both survived. Do you think that would have made Pac and Suge tighter? Or do you think that would have made Pac be like, wait a minute, let me see who I got around me first?
Um I think it would have made them tighter just because they were both in that situation together. You know what I mean? And so I don't think that Pac would have thought Suge set him up. It wouldn't have been like the whole New York thing.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been dumb. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna set somebody up and then be in the same vehicle. That's the guy's getting shot.
that's stupid, right? Yeah, that's the dumbest theory ever.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Okay,
yeah,
so spin it. So let's say
yeah,
Suge would not have survived, right?
okay,
Do you think? Okay, so I don't know too much about Pac. I don't want to pretend that I'm this Pac super fan, right?
right.
But the inkling I get from Pac is if Suge would not have survived, I feel like Pac would have even brought up his gangster even more. Like, damn, you took my boy, like you took my boss, you took my
Mm.
partner. No, I gotta ride now. Like I have to go harder than ever. Am I right getting that feeling from Pop?
Pac was a loyal dude. Like I think that was one of his biggest flaws, honestly, is that he was too loyal to people. So I do feel like that probably would have been one of his things where he would have been on a revenge circle. Like he would have just been all out war at that point.
Hmm. No pun intended, but do you think Pop just would have seen red the whole time? Or do you think he would have got business savvy, make sure, okay, Death Row's gotta still run, I gotta control it. Like, what do you think would have happened there?
You know, it Pac is so like this day he one way and this day he the other way. You know what I mean? Like I
He's got
think
layers. He
honestly,
has layers.
yeah, he and his is amped up like to 1,000. Like on that day that he want revenge, he will go freaking psycho. But then the next day he might be like, damn, I need to calm down because I got too much shit to do. And I think honestly, with a lot of people, it's the people you got around you that's gonna help you decide what you're going to be more of. So honestly, it depends on who he would have had around him at that point.
Gotcha. So continuing in this what if universe, right?
Yep.
What would have been of Marshall Mathers? Like, do you think he still would have had the major impact or the major career that he has now?
You mean if he would have signed to Tupac instead of Dre?
Right. So if Pac would have lived and then Eminem would have signed to Dre, because mind you, even though if Pac would have lived, that doesn't mean Dre's out of the picture. Dre's still there.
Yeah, Dre was definitely still there.
So do you think that Eminem's impact would have been greater with Pac on his side or no?
Yes. Honestly, I think Eminem would have been just as big, only because it is. When Pac passed, he was the biggest rap star in the world. Like, he was it. He had the movies already. He was on fire with music because the Machiavelli album was about to come out. All Eyes on Me had dropped. Me Against the World, like he had number one, number one, number one. So he was the biggest rap star out there. So with him signing Eminem, a person that lyrical and kind of like him in a way where that just don't give a fuck attitude, like that would have been dangerous, and people would love that. I think Eminem is Eminem because Dre put his stamp on Eminem, and that's why Eminem became who he was. Well, if Pac put his stamps on Eminem, Eminem still would have been just as big.
So you got to school me on this because I don't know anything about West Coast beats,
Right.
producers, whatever.
Yeah.
So without Dre, who's doing
hmm
Pac's beats?
Johnny J, Daz, Rick Rubin, Pac himself started to do his own beats. Like,
Okay.
there's a plethora of people that could have done the same thing. Like, people got to remember, if you look on Eminem's album, Dre didn't do a lot of beats like that, just like he didn't do a lot of beats for Pac. On Pac All Eyes on Me album, Dre did two, I believe. He did California Love and he did Can't See Me.
I'm
I
glad
think
you
that was
mentioned
it.
that because coming from an East Coaster, right, from an East Coast
Yeah.
standpoint, and my assumption being that we don't really follow Pac,
hmm
he just thought, okay, if Pac's on it, it's a Dre beat. Like
Right.
Dre and Pac is peanut butter and jelly. Like you get one with the other. So that's not the case then. Pac would still been Pac without Dre's influence, or not influence, but without Dre's beats, he still would have been up there.
Yeah. Dre didn't do anything on Tupac's album like that. Like, Dre did two beats for Pac. That was it. He did
Okay.
California Love and he did You Can't See Me. The rest of that is produced by Johnny J, Daz, Rick Rubin, um, Mike Mosley. He had a whole DJ Quick. Everybody else was producing. Now Dre mixes. He did mix some stuff, but as far as producing wise, he didn't do anything like that. Pac was already Pac before he went to Death Row, so Dre didn't really do anything for Pac.
Okay. So do you think the same producers that would have been working with Pop would be the ones on Eminem, making him, blow up? And do you think he would
I,
still
I
have the same impact? Because I mean, there's just some songs that I just can't imagine Dre not doing. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I definitely understand. I give Dre his credit for what he does, but Dre's a slow producer. You know what I mean? And if you own a label where Tupac is running it, and Tupac is one of those people that's like, get it out, get it out, get it out, he would have had other producers around. Like, what would be the difference between Dr. Dre and Daz Beats? You know what I mean? Like, you can get DJ Quick to do beats. You can Eminem would have still had the same impact if Pac would have had his stamp on Eminem. Eminem became Eminem because Dre put his stamp on there, not because of the production he did for him per se. It's because Dre co-signed him. Well, if Pac co-signs you at that time, you still got the same impact.
You
I give you
think
an example.
D12 would have still been out?
um, Probably
Because
just
Pac kind of
because
outlaw, so he likes groups, right?
he his favorite group was Wu Tang, so yeah, he loves groups. I think it's the fact of like Pac is a loyal dude, so if you riding with that person, then he wants you to bring your people with him. You know what I'm saying?
I can't see Pac and Bizarre kicking it. Like that's hilarious to me.
That'd be a hilarious thing because Pac joked around a lot. So
Oh,
having Bizarre, yeah, that would have been interesting. That
Pac and Proof, that would have been dope.
would have been dope. Yes.
Okay. So Eminem would have still bubbled. He still would have been out there. D12 would have possibly still been out there. Do you think M would have still signed 50, or do you think Pac would have got a hold of 50 first?
I think if the scenario happened the same way that it happened in reality, where 50 Cent got shot to 9 times and all that other stuff, I 1000% seeing 50 going to Pac because in retrospect, 50 wanted to go to Suge because he was like, Suge is a person he feels like could have held him down, but Eminem got him and was like, I can do this. And you're not going to turn down Eminem. Eminem, the biggest star in the world at that time. So,
Right.
I absolutely think always, I kind of always think about that scenario. Like, what if Pac had lived and that would have happened? Like, that was already in my mind. I thought about that years ago. And it still would have been crazy, honestly. And who's to say that Dre wouldn't have, him and Pac would have squashed that thing where he still would have made beats for them? Because Pac only disrespected Dre because he felt like Dre wasn't loyal to Snoop.
So do you know, did they sign anybody? Did Death Row sign anybody after Pac?
Hmm.
So it wasn't, so Suge wasn't, he wasn't like, okay, my artist is Pac, that's it. Everybody else, I don't give a fuck. I'm back in Pac.
No, no, no. He had other people, and like, do you mean while Pac was on the label, or do you mean after Pac died?
No, so while Pac was on the label, because okay, so the reason I ask you this is I can see other people doing this where
Mhm.
I don't care about these other rappers trying to come up. I got Pac. That's my main
Right,
priority. Fuck
right, yeah.
50. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think Suge would have just shunned him aside? Like, dude, focus on you. You don't need him. You need it.
No, because I think their biggest thing is I'm the biggest artist, but we still need other people.
Mm,
So I don't know if you heard of the realist before.
yeah.
Okay, the realist was actually going to death row while Pac was on death row, and I know he sounds a lot like Pac. Well, Pac actually met him and gave him his blessing to be on the label.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so they were still signing people. It was just the fact of like they didn't get a chance. Pac was only on death row for like 9 months.
So you mentioned to me in the past, Death Row East. Was that a Tupac
Yeah,
idea or was that a Suge Knight idea?
that was a Suge Knight idea.
Okay, so then that would answer my question. Then. So Pop Suge would have definitely been like, okay, we need fifth.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Nice. Wow. Could you imagine like a Death Row Latin? Like freaking Daddy Yankee on that shit, Pitbull and
But Pac was cool with Fat Joe,
yeah,
so like anything could have happened.
that
Like
would have been
that
great.
label
Oh
could
my
have
God.
been
Like Big Pun. and Eminem and Tupac just kicking it. That would have been a sight to see right there. That's
That would have been crazy. Yeah.
Nori in the mix. All right. You know what's weird, man? It's like we're talking about these what ifs, right? And it's
Yeah. Yeah.
almost like I mentioned it earlier. It's almost like their own Marvel universe. Like, what if this would have happened?
Yeah.
That would have happened. Um, Man, I think we're on to something. So, if there's a movie that comes out, just remember you heard it here first on the JK. Um, so going on with this what if scenario.
Yeah.
So what if Big would have survived?
Mm.
Do you think that eventually Pac and Big would have been cool?
So are you giving me a scenario if Pac wouldn't have died and Biggie wouldn't have died?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to keep it so that Pac still his life got attempted, right?
Right. Right.
Biggie's life got attempted. So there's there's
Mhm.
there's history there.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think they would ever be cool? And let's say everything still happened. The Diddy Cassie trial, like all this shit, all the rumors, the I forgot what dude, Keefe D being locked up and like all
Yeah.
this is happening. So do you think they would have ended up being cool?
I think so. I at the end of Pac's life or whatever, he was already talking about ending a lot of his stuff beef wise, and he had put out like a scenario. It was like, I would do things with Biggie if we could make community centers in everywhere, and every rapper has a team, and at the end of the season we all get together and do a concert. He said, I
Sounds
will.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I would end everything. I would get on the stage. I will rock with Biggie. I give him a hug. He was like, if we did this for the kids, he was like, I'm down for it. So I think that he made his point on hit him up. And if you honestly think about it, on Machiavelli, I know you don't really know Machiavelli like that, but he didn't really diss Biggie too much on there. He dissed Puffy a lot. He dissed some other people, Mob Deep and Jay Z and stuff like that, and Nas, but he didn't really mention Biggie a lot. Like he might have threw a couple lines at him, but he wasn't going that big like that. So I honestly feel like he would have eventually been like, you know what, it's not worth
So do you think the demise of Puff would have happened a lot sooner?
it. Now that would be the interesting part, because my thing is, what would Big feel about this whole situation? Because he's intertwined in everything with Bad Boys and Puffy. So what is his stance in all this? Like, does it make him look even worse because of some of the lyrics that people break down that Biggie have said, and then him sign with Puffy? It's one of those things where it's like, do you feel? How do you feel about that? Because you're more of an East Coast person than I am.
I think it would have backed Biggie up in the corner. Um, it would have put him in a hard position because Puff, at the end of the day, and I'm just thinking back, Puff at 93, Puff at 94, Puff
Mm-hmm.
at 95. You didn't mess with Puff. Puff was very powerful back then. Um, he could make phone calls, he could push
Yeah.
buttons, he could make things happen very quickly. He was known not to be messed with. Um, I think Big would have been quiet at first because that's just the way he is. I mean, he could have been loud with the whole Pac beef, but he decided to just whatever put that under the
Hmm.
table. I think Pop would have made a power move and would have said, you know what? I got my own label. You don't have to sign with me, but you can partner with me. And I think that would have been Big's out. I think Big would have
Yeah.
agreed to a partnership rather than sign under me kind of a deal. And I don't think Big would have necessarily like talked about Puff or exposed them, but I think he would have shunned them like crazy. Like, you know what? We ain't messing with you. My whole crew, we ain't messing with you. You done. Like Junior Mafia ain't signing to you, Lil Kimmy ain't signing to you.
Hmm.
And I think that would have destroyed Puff at that point. Puff would have been what do you tell Fabulous? Scrambling and scraping, the scrambling and scraping,
Yeah.
trying to figure out ways. And I think that would have destroyed Puff big time. And I think Big would have even let go of his catalog. Big would have been like, that's okay, you can have it, go ahead. I'll just make new shit. Whatever.
Mm.
And Puff would have been that bitter bitch, you know what I mean?
You do know Big tried to sign the Pac before he signed the Puff.
I didn't know that. Nope.
Pac told him, like, you know, let let Puff got you. He was like, he told Big, he was like, let Puff take care of you. He got you. He'll help you out. He'll put you in the right situation. I don't know. Like that would have been interesting instead of Biggie signing to Puff if he would have went with Pac and been a part of Thug Life and everything like he wanted to.
That would have been crazy. That wow.
That
That's
would have been
probably
crazy. Yeah.
I don't know. Could that have been a blessing or a headache that blocked Pac? Because at the end of the day, Pac was still gonna hang out with who he was gonna hang out with.
He was, but I think the scenario with Pac and that situation at the studio is the fact of like he felt like Big didn't warn him to a point, but he didn't tell him what he knew was the problem. It wasn't the fact that he set him up; it was the fact that he didn't tell him what happened and who did it. And you know who did it because these are this is your town, this is your area, this is your situation. So you will find out stuff before I do. But he said Big didn't tell him anything. He was like, I asked him like, Big, what happened? What happened? And he didn't say shit. He was like, and that's what he was mad about.
Do you believe that? Do you think Big didn't know for real?
Oh, he definitely knew. I don't think he had anything to do with it, but I think he definitely knew.
So Big signing to Pac, was this before the Pac rape allegation or was this after?
This was before. This is when Big first came out. Uh, when he did
This was before Big.
Party and Bullshit. This is
Oh,
Party and Bullshit.
gotcha.
Because he wasn't signed to Puff for Party and Bullshit. He was just under Puff at that
Yeah.
time, but he wasn't signed to him. So that's when Pac actually met Big, and he wanted to go with Pac and Thug Life is what he wanted, and that's when Pac told him, "No, stick with Puff. He'll get you straight." Yada yada yada. But they recorded songs together. Like it's other songs with Pac and Big together. They just didn't come out like that.
Man, do you think that's going to be the evolution of Puff when Puff gets out of jail? Like, here's the new Biggie and Pac album. Boom, bad boy, we back on top.
Nah, because he don't have the rights to him.
But who owns the rights to that?
That was recorded under it was recorded under Thug Life, so it would be Tupac, whoever runs Tupac Estate.
Wow, why are they sitting on that?
They sit on a lot of things that Pac did, but they ain't never brought out. The people that run Pac Estate sucks ass. So The
Is it Pac's family at least, or are we talking about this is like a
mm-mm.
business?
No, it's a business. His mother left it to a business, unfortunately.
Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah.
That's messed up. Because
Hmm.
now there's no motivation. There's just who's the biggest bidder if there is even a bidder. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
So sticking on the what if scenarios,
Yeah.
DMX comes to mind, especially now because watching the NBA finals, you hear DMX songs like all the time. You know, X gonna give it to you. Like it's just a big hit, especially the
Yeah.
NBA. So what if X would have got clean and stayed clean? You know, his last run, what if he would have stayed clean? So his last run, he did the Drink Champs. He was getting
Yeah.
ready to come out with an album.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think would have happened? I would have loved to see it. And I really thought he was going to stay clean this time because he was getting chubby. You know, when they
He
get chubby,
was.
okay, he's clean. You know? What's your thoughts?
Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think it would have been any different too much, really. Like I don't. It's kind of like not to disrespect Eminem, but would DMX still be DMX if he was clean? Because like Eminem, when he got clean, wasn't really Eminem after that. Not for a while, at least. He wasn't that same person. His raps were different. They were kind of boring. He didn't really have anything to rap about. So if DMX became clean,
Like, yo, get high so you can talk.
yeah, I mean, Eminem, like them few albums that he was like when he first got clean, they wasn't that good. So
I don't know.
it's like,
I think X would have been a big star, a bigger star. Because I think what drowned Eminem was just the fact that he just wasn't out in the public as much. But with X, he was doing. I think he would have done a lot more movies. He was really good at acting. I really enjoyed all his movies. I think he would have been a big star, a bigger star than what he was. He was always acting like a kid. He was racing remote control cars, or he was on four
mm,
wheels and dune buggies and doing all that shit. Always active. I think X would have been a lot bigger than what he ever was.
that's hard because he was already one of the biggest rappers,
Yeah.
period. Like I don't know if it's I think that was just his ceiling. Like if you putting if you go a top 20 rappers, X is in that top 20
To a point, he is. Rap wise, he did fall off a little bit. I
slightly.
think I think with X, it's more like an era kind of a thing. Um, just because like there's no way you can compare Grand Champ to It's Dark and Hell is Hot. It's two different rap styles. It just sounds older ish as far as the rap flow. I'll even listen to DMX and the Locks, like one of his latest releases, and his rhymes
Hmm.
aren't hitting as hard. You know, I don't think he would have been big rap wise. I think just him just acting. I think he would have blew up acting. I think he would have been like Luda and Tyrese and just known more for acting than they are for writing.
So you think so? Are you giving a scenario of DMX was clean the whole time, or just for that
No, after so when he was clean at Drink Champs, so when he did Drink Champs, which was before he died,
was right before? Right. Yeah.
right, he was on Drink Champs. So from that moment on,
Okay.
I think
Um.
that he would have been huge. He would have been bigger than what he ever was.
Really, you think? I don't think so. I think that's about the end of his career, and I think he would have just faded. even clean.
I doubt it because he was just starting to come back from it all. He knew what it was to have it all.
Yeah, but
And
he was.
he did that bath salt song with Jay-Z and Nas and them, and it blew up. It got a huge buzz. And I think that that would have been the whole turning point. You know, he would have done a real versus, not that fake shit he did with Snoop Dogg. That was some stupid shit.
I, 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 it's hard for me to see him getting bigger than what he was, just because X had kind of stopped to a point doing what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like you said, he got bigger, like he got really big, and and so it looked like he was clean at that point. He probably just relapsed, and that's what happened. But I just can't see him getting any bigger than what he was. Like, it's hard for me to think of a scenario where it would have made a difference.
So when I say he would have been bigger, not necessarily in the rap game, just his superstardom. Like he would have been more of a household name. Um,
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, how? How would he have done that?
Movies. I think movies and series would have been his thing. I think he would have not necessarily done his own podcast, but I think he would have been on more podcasts. He started to do a little bit more, like he did Drink Champs and The Breakfast Club. Um, he was wild, man. Remember he did that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer
Yeah,
thing? Like
yeah.
his shit was clicking, and he wasn't afraid to talk about Drake. And then he even apologized and was like, you know, he ain't that bad. Da, da, da. But every time he touched the mic, eyes were on him. You know, people wanted to hear what he had to say, what he was going through. He admitted that he wasn't perfect. He's the only rapper that I know could pause a whole audience in just prayer, and you believed that shit. You felt that shit. You know, it wasn't it wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't a Kanye West moment. Like it was a legitimate. My tears are real moment. You know what I mean? He moved crowds with just a prayer. Like that's nuts, bro. Um,
No, I agree with you.
I think he would have been big. I think he would have been selling merch or Double R Racing, Double R Motorsports would have been bigger than what it's ever been. He would have been a factor. He would have been something to mess with, something to invest in. I could
See,
see a DMX Productions. I could see a DMX Entertainment Group. Just something that has more longevity there. DMX was just a rare brand. It wasn't even a person. You think of DMX, you just think of an aura. You just think of a whole vibe.
you say that for X. I think that that could have been big. I think big would have been more movie, TV show,
I don't know.
rap wise.
I saw Big play himself and Steve Harvey, and he did terrible. So I don't know if he could do movies.
He was. I didn't see him on Steve Harvey. I seen him on Martin.
Or yeah, I'm Martin. I'm Martin. I was like, no, you can't even play yourself. Like it's
But uh I mean, he was only 24. So when he passed, like I think if Big had that opportunity to grow a little bit more, he could have been everything you're saying for DMX. I think DMX had hit his ceiling, regardless of if he was clean or not. Like I think that was it for him. But I think Big didn't even get to even touch close to his ceiling. And he could have been so much more. And I'm not the biggest Biggie fan, if y'all don't know. So, but his potential was through the roof. Like he had charisma. He was funny. He he could rap his ass off. Like it ain't. If he would have stayed and he could have rapped more, like he probably could have been the best ever. Like he could have been the GOAT easily.
yeah. When it comes to Big, I think from watching clips and everything like that, rap just seemed too easy for him.
Yeah.
I think yeah, he would have definitely blew up. He would have been a lot bigger than what he was. But spinning this what if scenario,
hmm
what if Big would have lived? What if Pop would have lived? What if X
Yeah.
would have kept going? Whose careers would have ended? Like, do you
Mm.
think 50 would have ended Ja? Or do you think Pop would have stopped Ja? Do you think Jay would have even been where he's at now? Would Jay-Z still been that billionaire? Um, and who would have popped Beyonce? So what do you think?
I'm biased, so I'm gonna try to be unbiased on here.
Okay. Ain't
Um,
no way Beyonce ended with Jay. I'll tell you that right now.
no, she definitely would have been Pox. Um, but realistically, if all of them lived and all, like, where would there be a place for Ja Rule? Because Pac is here. Like, he has no. All these people came out after Pac passed. Like DMX, he came out after Pac passed. Ja Rule after Pac passed. Master P, he was around, but he wasn't blown up until Pac passed because he kind of used that scenario to help him gain his brand. So I think a lot of them wouldn't have had a place. Jay would have been Jay, but not as big as Jay is because Jay, it was too many around. Like Biggie would have still been here, so he can't use Biggie rhymes in his raps. He can't, you know what I'm saying? Like Nas was the guy back then in New York. Like Biggie and Nas was like neck and neck. So Jay would have been he would have been around, I think, but he wouldn't have been as big as he is. He wouldn't have been a billionaire, I don't think.
Let's just throw another monkey wrench in there just for shits and giggles.
Yeah,
So let's see if Pun was still around.
Pun,
I
yeah.
think I think Pun would have stopped Jay Sean.
You think Pun would have stopped Jay Sean?
Yeah. Because they had that beef
They did.
and I don't think Jay would be talking out the mouth like he was. Now with
Did
Pac still walking around, now with Pun still around. No, hell no.
did Jay diss Pun?
Jay dissed Fat Joe,
Okay, he dissed Fat Joe.
but I don't think he dissed Pun.
So what was Pun's beef with Jay? Because I don't know that whole thing. I just heard Pun chase him around a studio or a couch or something.
Yeah, he was chasing him around, chasing him around the couch. I don't know for what, but I know a bottle
Okay.
got thrown, and Pun can't run to begin with. So I don't know how much running was actually being